Iran just did something that no country has done in decades. They struck an American military base. Not a small outpost. Not a forward position. Al-Udeid Air Base, the largest U.S. military installation in the entire Middle East. The command hub for American air power across the entire region. Home to thousands of U.S. troops. Iran launched missiles at it. Some of those missiles got through. And right now, two completely opposite stories are being told about what happened next. Iran says it was a devastating blow. America says the base is still standing and fully operational. Only one of them can be right. Here's everything we know. Before we get into the attack itself, you need to understand exactly what Al-Udeid Air Base is. Because this is not just any target. Al-Udeid sits southwest of Doha, in Qatar. And it is, without question, one of the most strategically important pieces of American military infrastructure on the planet. Here is what operates out of this single base. Thousands of U.S. troops, stationed there permanently. Surveillance aircraft, monitoring the entire region around the clock. Fighter jets and bombers, ready to launch missions across multiple countries. Aerial refueling tankers, extending the reach of American air power across thousands of miles. And centralized command centers, coordinating military operations spanning Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, and beyond. In short, Al-Udeid is the brain of American air operations in the Middle East. Iranian military commanders have known this for years. They have publicly stated, repeatedly, that American bases in the Gulf would be within range of Iranian missiles if a conflict ever escalated. This week, they stopped saying it. And started doing it. According to Iranian officials and state media, this was not a symbolic gesture. They describe it as a carefully planned, precision military operation. Targeting the most critical sections of the base. Iranian military commanders stated that multiple missiles were launched in a coordinated strike. They claimed that several missiles successfully reached their targets, hitting key operational and logistical areas inside the perimeter. Iranian state television called it a major military success. Military spokesman said the missiles were chosen specifically for one reason. Their ability to bypass advanced air defense systems protecting U.S. bases in the region. This is the part Iran wants the world to focus on. Not just that they hit something. But that they hit something that was supposed to be unhittable. The message from Tehran was unmistakable. American bases in the Gulf are not safe. And we just proved it. Iranian commentators went further, describing the strike as a turning point. Proof that U.S. military dominance in the region could be challenged. Proof that Iran had the reach, the precision, and the will to strike back, directly, at American power. That is the Iranian narrative. Now, here is what the United States is saying. The U.S. military did not deny the attack happened. American defense officials confirmed that missiles were indeed launched toward Al-Udeid. But their version of events looks very different from Iran's. According to the Pentagon, defensive systems intercepted several incoming missiles. Some debris and fragments reportedly did fall within the base perimeter. But the U.S. assessment is clear, the damage was limited. No catastrophic destruction of core infrastructure. No disruption to command operations. No mission-critical systems taken offline. The statement from American officials emphasized one thing above all else. Al-Udeid Air Base remains fully operational. So here is where we stand. Iran says they struck a powerful blow against the heart of American military power in the region. The United States says their defenses held, the damage was minor, and they are still running the show. Two narratives. Two very different pictures of what happened. And the truth, as is almost always the case in situations like this, likely sits somewhere in the middle. This kind of information battle is not unusual. But it matters enormously, so let's break it down. Why Iran needs this to be a major success. Iran's entire deterrence strategy depends on convincing the world, and its own population, that it can strike back against far more powerful adversaries. A successful hit on Al-Udeid tells the region, America is not untouchable. That message has real strategic value, regardless of the actual physical damage. Why the US needs this to be a near miss. America's credibility in the Gulf depends on projecting strength and resilience. Allies and partners in the region, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar itself, need to believe that hosting US forces is worth the risk. If Al-Udeid looked badly damaged and vulnerable, confidence in the American security umbrella collapses fast. So who do we believe? Independent verification in situations like this is incredibly difficult. The base is a restricted military facility. Access for outside journalists is controlled. Satellite imagery analysis takes time. And both sides have powerful incentives to shape the story in their favor. What we can say with confidence is this. Iran launched missiles at the most important American military base in the Middle East. Some of those missiles were not stopped. And the fact that this happened, regardless of the damage level, marks an extraordinary threshold crossed in this conflict. Here is why the world cannot treat this as just another exchange of fire. First, Qatar is now in the center of a war it didn't start. Qatar hosts Al-Udeid. Qatar has relationships with both the United States and Iran. A direct strike on its soil involving American forces puts Doha in an extraordinarily dangerous position. Every Gulf government is watching this very closely. Second, energy markets are on edge. The Gulf produces a massive share of the world's oil. Missile strikes near major installations send immediate signals to energy markets. Even the threat of escalation can trigger significant volatility. Actual strikes accelerate it. Third, the missile defense question is now open. Iran claims its missiles bypassed American defenses. The US says its systems worked. But the real question for military planners is this: what happens if Iran launches more missiles, in larger waves, at multiple targets simultaneously? Can every one of them be stopped? That question now has new urgency. Fourth, the retaliation cycle risk. Every military action in this conflict creates pressure for a response. Iran struck an American base. The United States now faces an internal and external calculation: respond militarily and risk further escalation, or absorb the hit and risk looking weak. Neither option is comfortable. Neither option is simple. The strike on Al-Udeid didn't just damage a base. It forced everyone in the room to ask, how much further does this go? Iran struck the largest American military base in the Middle East. Some missiles got through. The US says the damage was limited, the base is operational. Iran says it proved American power in the Gulf is no longer untouchable. Between those two claims lies a reality that diplomats, defense planners, and governments across the globe are urgently trying to understand. What is clear, beyond any narrative or counter-narrative, is that the confrontation between Iran and the United States just entered territory we have not seen in a very long time. The next move matters more than almost anything that has come before it. We will cover it the moment it breaks. Subscribe now and hit the bell, so you don't miss what comes next. Stay informed. Stay ahead.